Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for taking some time to listen to the Silver One presentation. We're kind of an early stage exploration level company, hopefully soon to be a development company. Started trading in mid-2016, and I would say that the outlook for precious metals at that time was somewhat more bullish. Silver was trading over $22 per ounce, and some people said it was heading to $100 per ounce. Well, things didn't happen that way. Something happened in the White House in 2016, and the economic policies of Mr. Trump have not been kind to precious metals. That being said, despite the headwinds against precious metals, Silver One has continued to grow. Forward-looking statement. So what have we done? When we first formed the company, we did a deal with First Mining Finance, now First Mining Gold. We acquired 3 Mexican silver projects. From that stage, we went on, and in 2017, we entered into an agreement with Silver Standard, now SSR Mining, to acquire 100% interest in the past-producing, very rich Candelaria silver mine in Nevada. Subsequently, this year, we went out and staked a very large ground position around a old producing silver copper mine called the Cherokee Mine in eastern Nevada. With that, let's talk a little bit about silver. It's both an industrial and a precious metal. In essence, the uses for the industrial base, particularly in the electronics and photovoltaic industries, is growing at a very fast rate. Gold-silver ratio is very high. It's about 85 to 1. Traditionally, over the last few decades, the price has averaged 50 to 60, and usually when it gets over 80, it starts correcting. And I'll talk about some factors which might lead to that correction. China, of course, is a big consumer, and despite the trade wars with the US, they're going to continue to be a big consumer, and inventories are consistently decreasing. Here's the uses. What's important is that the coins and bars, which would be the investor usage, make up just around 20%. But it's that use which really drives the price of silver in a bull market. So what's going to drive investors back into picking up silver as an investment? Well, first of all, the US dollar index continues to fluctuate up and down, although the US dollar still is strong. Economic political risk definitely increasing. Dow Jones is falling off at a very fast rate. Inflation is increasing, debt is increasing, and I think it's fair to say cryptocurrencies have lost some of their flavor. So we believe that essentially we're probably getting close to a return to a bull market in precious metals. Why invest in a junior like Silver One? Well, essentially, if you can tolerate the risk, essentially this is the best growth time for a junior. This was put out by US Global Research of the States. So why Silver One? We've got the assets, we've got people, we've got financial backing. We're definitely undervalued. You can look at our stock price, and you see that we have some good growth potential in the projects we've picked up. So let's talk about our flagship project, which is now the Candelaria Silver Project, which we acquired, well, are acquiring from Silver Standard or SSR Mining. The project's located right on the main highway from Reno to Las Vegas. That pit that I showed you on the very first slide, you can actually see from the main highway, so the infrastructure is very good. It was essentially started production in the mid-1800s, and up until the 1960s, produced from near-surface high-grade oxide veins at an average grade of over 1,200 grams per ton silver. It was the richest producing silver mine in all of Nevada. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was converted to an open pit, first Occidental Nurco, and then Kinross operated up until 97, at which time there was a collapse in precious metal prices. They shut the mine, started reclamation, and in 2001 sold it to Silver Standard. Silver Standard came in, did a very large drill program, outlined a very significant resource, did some metallurgical studies, but it still couldn't make it work at under $5 per ounce silver. So what's this resource that they outlined? It was 43101 compliant, but because it's more than 3 years old, we have to deem it to be historic. But in essence, at the measured and indicated, over 44 million ounces of silver. Another inferred resource of an additional 83 million ounces of silver. And what's important is within that, almost 48, just over 48 million ounces of silver lies on the old heaps at an average grade of 1.29 ounces per ton, or 40 grams per ton silver. This is just a shot of what it looks like. I'm standing on top of the Northern Bell Pit, and again, that was in the first slide, looking northwards towards the big leach pad number 1. Just between the leach pad and the Northern Bell Pit, you'll see a building for scale. We come in off the main highway along a paved road with the power line still active. If we look at a map view, you'll see up in the upper right the main highway connecting Reno to Las Vegas, 2 miles of paved road, electrical hookup that is still active. You'll see the little area on the north side of the pits where Silver Standard outlined the large resources, and just to the south, 2 water wells capable of producing enough water for an operation of which we maintain the rights. So what we did was we went in and we drilled the pads in last year. We started the metallurgy, and we're looking at possibly reprocessing the mineralization from the old heaps in the hopefully not too distant future. We should have the results from the metallurgy in the next 4 months or so, and then we will look at doing a PFS feasibility study and looking at potentially production. 2 other opportunities that are very important not to ignore. Silver Standard only drilled on the northern margin of the 2 pits, but down dip to the north of Mount Diablo, very high-grade intercepts. One was 14 meters of 670 grams per ton silver, and lots of long strike potential with historic workings all along. So let's move quickly along. We also went out and staked a very large ground position in eastern Nevada. Essentially, opportunities for silver projects are still quite high, since most of the exploration in Nevada is focused on gold. We outlined a very large epithermal silver, copper, gold system, some very high values taken on surface, as you can see there. I'll show you those on a map. Good epithermal textures, big veins, some copper. And essentially, we staked the area completely surrounding 12 kilometers strike length of 2 main vein systems. At the northern area, the Cherokee Mine, and the southern area, what we call Hidden Treasure. At the Cherokee Mine, you'll see some values there up to 950 grams per ton silver and over 4.8% copper. Lots of other high-grade values as well. On the very southern tip, I'll just skip that slide, essentially we're getting values just under 2,000 grams per ton silver and 2 grams per ton gold. So we're seeing kind of a donation here. Very highly prospective, still lots of work to be done, but we think there's a lot of potential. What do we want to do? We want to continue with our testing of Candelaria, metallurgical work to determine, can we bring this project back into production? Well, with heaps sitting at 44 grams per ton silver, we can compare it to another operation north of us called the Rochester Mine. At the Rochester Mine, Coeur is producing a leachable oxide material with a head grade of 15 grams per ton silver. Cherokee, we want to continue working on exploration of Cherokee and advancing that project. And then I'll just talk very briefly, one of the projects we acquired from First Mining Finance, Peñasco Camado in northern Sonora State, has very similar geological characteristics to another project just to the north of us in Arizona. That project is Arizona Mining, Hermosa, and Taylor deposits. And of course, Arizona Mining was just taken out for $1.6 billion by South 32 out of Australia. It needs to be drilled. It's never been drilled, but got some very good targets. This is who we are. You're welcome to drop by our booth. I think it's C16, but you can find it in the manual there. And that's our disappointing share price over the last few years, but we follow the trend of every other silver company and silver prices itself. So we think we're pretty undervalued, but we continue to grow the company. So please, if you've got time, come and see us at our booth. And I have 5 seconds left. Thank you.